And welcome to Hannity this Monday night. And tonight, Oregon officials, they have declared a state of emergency in the city of Portland tonight over the growing fentanyl crisis. By the way, only a few years after the state largely decriminalized these hard drugs. Our very own Sarah Carter live on the ground in Portland with a full report. Also, finally, by the way, finally, a good moment at the Grammys. Imagine that. Will this moment possibly lessen the political divide as many on social media seem to think? Well, we'll let you decide yourself. All right, but first, tonight, the U.S. Senate, they have released their long-awaited border legislation. And by the way, it's not just about borders. It's about Ukraine. It's funding $60 billion more, and about Israel funding only $14 billion. Now, this bill does absolutely nothing to secure the border. It would be an unmitigated disaster. And by the way, every Republican should strongly be opposed to this. It would mandate legal representation for all illegal immigrants. It adds 50,000 extra employment and family reunification visas. It gives Biden the power to funnel asylum claims to ports of entry if more than 5,000 illegal immigrants cross each day for 7 days, after which the ports must process a minimum of 1,400 claims a day. And what's worse is the power can only be used for a limited number of days and sunsets after 3 years. That's just the headlines. In his celebration of the deal, far-left Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy said the quiet part out loud on Twitter, writing, "The border never closes." Now, but get this. The one provision in the bill actually allows Biden and gives him the power to not abide by the emergency shutdown authority if he doesn't want to. So, saying it, quote, authorizes the president to suspend the border emergency on an emergency basis for up to 45 days if it's in the national interest. Well, it could be written up as the basically codifying into law all of Biden's aiding and abetting of illegal immigration into this country. Former President Trump, whose policies led to the most secure border in history, the one that Joe Biden inherited, well, called it a horrendous bill and a gift to Democrats. Personally, I'm really having a hard time understanding even why. For the Senate Republicans out there, why would you ever negotiate this deal? Biden doesn't need legislation to fix the border. We've been saying this over and over again. Biden's claim otherwise is a flat-out lie and nothing more than a blatant attempt to shift the blame for the crisis onto Republicans, if they're stupid enough to allow that to happen. Now, Biden was handed the most secure border in our nation's history. With the stroke of a pen in his first 100 days, Biden revoked all of Donald Trump's efforts to exclude illegal immigrants from the census. He strengthened DACA. He ended Trump's interior enforcement. He halted border wall construction. He ended the Remain in Mexico policy, which is extremely successful. He also let Title 42 expire. Joe does not need Congress to fix that. He can reinstate those policies on his own, just as he undid them with the stroke of a pen. He doesn't need congressional legislation to do that, but obviously Biden is not serious about fixing this man-made crisis of his. On top of that, the House already passed a very strong border security bill. That's called H.R. 2. Why didn't the Senate simply take up H.R. 2 and make it part of their big package? Although I don't like the idea. I think every bill should stand on its own merits. I don't think foreign policy funding should be connected to the border in any way. I don't think Ukraine should be impacted by a border bill. This bill would enact the necessary steps to secure our border again. That's H.R. 2. Meanwhile, a CBP source tells Fox Bill Mallusion tonight that the day the legislation was released, there were over 6,000 illegal immigrant encounters at the southern border, including 160 Chinese nationals that were apprehended in the San Diego sector. Now, a regular occurrence in recent weeks, we've talked about over 26,000 Chinese nationals in this country, over 12,000 from Russia. And what about the ones from Iran and Syria and Egypt and Afghanistan? Why are Chinese nationals pouring over the border in Southern California? The problem now has become so bad that even the liberal media can no longer ignore it. Take a look at this 60-minute segment from last night. Take a look.
The number of migrants arriving at the southern border is unprecedented. Last year, U.S. Customs and Border Protection recorded 2.5 million instances of detaining or turning away people attempting to cross into the United States from Mexico. So what's the fastest growing group among them? Chinese migrants. Yes, you heard that right, Chinese. We saw large groups, including many from the middle class, come through a 4-foot gap at the end of a border fence 60 miles east of San Diego. The illegal entryway is a new route for those hoping to live in America.
Look at New York City, where the governor, Kathy Hochul, with the mayor, Eric Adams of New York City, welcomed illegal immigrants with open arms. We are open. We're a sanctuary state. Well, it's wreaking havoc in New York. This morning, New York City police officers, they conducted a raid on a Venezuelan gang tied to dozens of robberies and, of course, the brutal assault on NYPD officers last week, and showing just how truly out of touch he is. New York City Mayor Adams attended the raid and the press conference thereafter, appearing to wear a Fendi scarf. Reportedly, that scarf cost nearly $700. I'm glad he's making a lot of money doing a lousy job. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.